The Toronto Blue Jays have made their first trade of the season, acquiring a catcher from the Pittsburgh Pirates. So we'll break down that trade alongside Kevin Gausman setting an MLB record last night in his amazing start. So we're going to break that down and much more on this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? It's Gosse, your host of Jays Digest. And before we do get into the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 7,000 subscribers. We're less than 200 away. So if you hit that button, it would mean a lot, especially because the Blue Jays are rolling. We're going to have tons of content coming out for you guys. But today's video is going to be a shorter one. It's going to be a quick hitter, a couple pieces of news. And the Blue Jays have made their first trade of the regular season. I'm sure there's going to be lots more to come closer to the deadline. But they did make a trade today. And let's just get right into it, as we all love trades. We all love roster moves. And this one came at a little bit of a surprise. And I'm going to break down, what the trade is and what implications it might have going forward. So you can see the trade here, tweeted from Toronto Blue Jays official Twitter, saying, "We've acquired catcher Tyler Heineman from the Pirates in exchange for infielder Vinny Capra. Heineman has been added to the 40-man roster and option to AAA. To make room, Jordan Luplow has been assigned outright to AAA, meaning he is no longer on the 40-man roster." So a lot to break down here. And the key and the main, move is we've gotten rid of our infielder Vinny Capra, who's been with the Blue Jays for a while. Never really got the run that maybe some fans think he deserved, or at least he hasn't gotten very much time in the MLB, and we'll discuss that in a second. But Tyler Heineman is a catcher. We got him from the Pirates. Of course, he's played with us before. And there's a lot of things that we can discuss about this trade. But first, let's get into the stats of Vinny Capra here. And you can look, since 2018, you can look at the stats with the minors, where he had a 699 OPS, a 604 OPS in 2019. He played with the Blue Jays a little bit in 2022. Didn't do a whole lot there, but he did have a very good OPS in the minors in 2021 and 2022. And he played a few games with the Blue Jays last year. He played a good few games, and he did okay. He filled his role nice. And this year so far, which is kind of the key thing, with Buffalo in AAA, he is hitting 167 with a 579 OPS and is really struggling with only 9 hits and 54 at-bats. And for someone who's in AAA, and he's not young anymore, he's on the older side of the prospect table, you need to hit at the AAA level, and he doesn't have any power at all. He was kind of filling the role of a pinch runner type, infielder for the Blue Jays last year whenever they needed him for some speed. But now they have Nathan Lucas, and we have tons of other guys who, roster spots are very hard to get for the Blue Jays right now. So it made sense trading away Vinny Capra, and in return, we got Tyler Heineman, who is much older. He's in his 30s, and you can look at his stats here now. He's a backup catcher, maybe even the third string catcher on most teams that he's played for, and in most teams of the MLB right now. So you can look, of course, in 2019, he had a good 5-game stretch there. But as recent as 2022 with the Blue Jays, in 10 games played, he hit 267 with an 89 OPS plus and a 667 OPS. He did okay. He did his job as a backup catcher when there was injuries. He played a lot of games for the Pittsburgh Pirates last year. You can see he's 31 years old, but in 2022, he hit 211, and that was because, of course, the Pirates weren't really competing. But now that they're competing, he's no longer really an option, as he did really bad in his brief stint with the Blue Jays today, in this year. So I don't know, a very, very interesting trade. And one of the main things I want to quickly touch on here now is this move was probably made, and you guys can let me know in the comments what your speculation is on this trade, but it seems like it was made because maybe they don't have as much faith, the Blue Jays front office that is, in their depth, their catching depth in the minor league. So they wanted someone who, in case Alejandro Kirk goes down or in case Danny Jansen goes down, they have someone like Tyler Heineman, who's a more veteran presence, who is very good or fairly good at calling the game. He's okay in the defensive end. And again, he's a veteran, someone who you can kind of put faith in for a few games if one of the catchers goes down, as opposed to going into AAA and getting a potential, prospect or someone else in AAA. So Heineman has a lot of experience catching in the major leagues, over 100 games caught, which you can't say for a lot of prospects. He's not really a prospect, but a lot of minor league players. And another key thing here is obviously he's been in the J system before. The coaching staff seems to love him. He seems like a pretty good character guy. So bringing him in as a backup to our backups is very interesting, especially because, of course, Gabriel Moreno is no longer on the team, who used to be our third kind of catcher. Now he's obviously in the Diamondbacks, so Tyler Heineman is going to be that guy. Yeah, I assume if Alejandro Kirk or Danny Jansen, need a day off or are injured or something like that. And of course, we have Dalton Varsho, who can also play catcher, but it does not seem like he wants to be, or the Blue Jays want him catching very many games at all. And this kind of, further reinforces that with their trade. And so again, and then also Jordan Luplow is assigned to AAA. He had a very bad stint with the Blue Jays, albeit he was put in a very tough spot. They were sitting him for 9 days, throwing up against Shane McClanahan and people like that. So he didn't really get a fair shot which has been unfortunate, but he is still on the AAA team. So I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are on this trade and what you think it could mean. I think it might just be as simple as they wanted a more veteran backup catcher in case one of our catchers goes down. But yeah, that's what I think it is. And let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. It was a very interesting trade to wake up to this morning. And again, it was Tyler Heineman for Vinny Capra. And hopefully Vinny Capra gets a chance with the Pittsburgh Pirates and performs well. You always want to see that happen. And yeah, the Pirates are doing amazing this year. Same record as the Blue Jays, 18-9. So who knows? Maybe they'll see each other in October. But the other quick thing we want to mention in today's video is Kevin Gausman sets a record. Now, yesterday, of course, he pitched against the Seattle Mariners and had a phenomenal game. 7 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts, breaking his career high, which is not the record I'm going to be talking about now. Here is the record, though, from Codified Baseball. He said Kevin's 20 whiffs with splitters today is the most in any MLB game in the pitch tracking era and maybe ever. So this isn't really, it's a little bit of a cherry pick stat, but it's not too bad. Of course, Kevin Gausman's splitter is amazing. We have 2 pitchers on our staff with really great splitters, in Kevin Gausman and Eric Swanson. And like he says here, 20 whiffs yesterday. He's saying today, but this was obviously about yesterday's start, is the most in any MLB game in the pitch tracking era. So that's in tons of years. Very, very cool. And it just goes to show that, how dominant Kevin Gausman's fastball and splitter combination has been, because he's getting so many whiffs on the splitter. And he's just been unbelievable. He set the record in his own personal record in strikeouts yesterday. And it was just a very, very cool stat to have. Again, we spoke about this before the season. Kevin Gausman last year was one of the most unlucky pitchers in baseball. Very unlucky. His FIP was much lower than his actual ERA. He was getting hit hard. Of course, the shift didn't help him at times. The balls batted in play. The BABIP was way higher than it should be. And it's all starting to come down to earth now. And Kevin Gausman has been absolutely dominant for the Blue Jays, setting MLB records like he did today, and of course setting personal records like he did yesterday with his 13 strikeouts. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Kevin Gausman there. 20 whiffs on splitters is pretty crazy. And to do that, you really need to have complementary pitches. You need to have a crazy good fastball. His fastball yesterday, like we spoke on our post-game video last night, it was touching 95, it was touching 98, and his average was 95 miles per hour plus. So when he's doing that and his splitter's complementing it very, very well, and as well as it has been to start the season, then he is, like we said yesterday, in the contention for Cy Young, and he is a very, very good pitcher. And he is, I believe right now, the ace of our staff ahead of Alek Manoah, and this just further reinforces it. I just figured you guys would want to know that cool fact there, because it was very interesting to me. I didn't even know. Of course, I wouldn't think about that stat. It's a little bit cherry-picked, but it just goes to show how effective his splitter has been. But that'll wrap up the video. Just a quick news video for you guys before our afternoon game today against the Mariners. Going for the sweep, so hopefully we can do that. We will have a pregame live stream for you if you are watching on April 30th, the day of this video, and a postgame video. But I just wanted to get this out for you guys in case you missed the news or you're at work or something like that. But your support has been unbelievable. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 7K, and I'll see you later. Thanks.